I'm going to do something very different today. I'm going to review an old book. Matter of fact, this book was published in 1896, I believe. It's a book everybody knows about, and at least knows about the premise, but very few people probably today have read it. It's sold supposedly over 50 million copies, one of the best-selling books of all time. And like I said, it's well over 100 years old. And the name of it is In His Steps. And the subtitle is What Would Jesus Do? So that's, about what would Jesus do? You see the bracelets and so forth everywhere. This has been going on for a very, very long time, based on this book by Charles Shelton. This is a book that is basically coming out of the, matter of fact, it was one of the catalysts of what we call the social gospel movement. This is one of the books that was published right in the midst of that big influx and turning of the church away from the biblical gospel to a social gospel. And this book played a big role in that. And so let me kind of go through that with you for a little bit. First of all, the plot's very simple. There's a pastor in this story by the name of Reverend Henry Maxwell. He's working on a sermon, and an unemployed man, a man who's lost his job, shows up at his house. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have much of anything, and the pastor dismisses him. He shows up a few days later at the end of the pastor's sermon and stands before the congregation and kind of lays out that the issue that people are not loving him and people like him. They're not taking care of them. They're singing about giving their all to Jesus, but they're not doing much for people like him. And as he gets into his testimony, he collapses on stage, and he ends up being taken to the pastor's house, where he spends a few days there, and he dies. So it's kind of a heart-breaking story. And based upon that, the pastor comes back the next week and challenges his people to not do anything for the next year, except without asking, before they ask, what would Jesus do? And then do what they think Jesus would do. So that's the premise of the book. And the rest of the book is simply story after story for a couple hundred pages of how people applied that to their own lives and look into the future and so forth. So that is what the story is about. But I was thinking about this book in particular because as I've been reading and reviewing books by John Mark Comer. And if you've been following along with that, 2 books I've reviewed so far, I'll review another one next time.